I, 28M, overheard my fiancée, 27F, tell a friend about a month ago that her previous ex was the best lover she ever had. I, living with my fiancée, heard something about a month ago that shook me up real good. I accidentally overheard her chatting with a friend, saying her old boyfriend was the best lover she ever had. It happened by pure chance during a get-together we had with a bunch of our pals at our place. As the evening rolled on, we all split into smaller groups. Some of us, including me, were in the living room playing Texas Hold'em poker, while a few others were glued to a Lord of the Rings movie marathon in another room. I figured my fiancée was watching those movies, but turns out she and her close buddy were in the kitchen, sipping coffee and having a heart-to-heart. Our poker group ran out of soda, so I got up to grab some drinks and snacks from the kitchen. As I came around the corner, I caught my fiancée mid-conversation. Before I stepped fully into the room, I heard her say clear as day, "Jason's a great guy, but he'll never stack up as a lover compared to Bill." Then she added, "It ain't fair to Jason, Bill was just naturally blessed, if you know what I mean." At first, I thought about sneaking back to the card game and acting like we didn't have any more soda or snacks, but I made a little noise and walked in instead. Her friend spotted me coming around the corner and gave my fiancée a look, signaling I was there. Of course, my fiancée had no clue I'd heard her, so she stopped talking and asked me how I was doing and if I was enjoying myself. I wanted to snap back something like, "I'm having as much fun as a guy who ain't blessed down there can," but I held my tongue. I just said, "Yeah," grabbed what I needed, and headed back to finish the night. I pretended everything was fine for the rest of the evening and went to bed, but man, it messed with my head bad. I've never been the jealous type or felt insecure about myself until that moment. I couldn't sleep that night, tossing and turning with a whirlwind of feelings. First, I was mad, then humiliated, then down in the dumps, and then mad all over again. I get that the male ego can seem silly to women and even to confident guys, and I'd have agreed with that before this happened, but once it's bruised, it's a real struggle. I tried hiding how I felt and never let on to her, but as the days passed, I just got worse. I started avoiding her like the plague, and while she seemed suspicious, she didn't say much about it. That is, until a few days later when she tried getting close to me in an intimate way, and I flat out turned her down. It wasn't a planned decision on my part. I told myself I'd try to move past it and let it go, but in that moment, I felt so inadequate and ashamed instead of turned on. No matter how hard we tried, nothing happened. She asked what was wrong, and I brushed it off, saying I must be stressed from work, but she didn't buy it and wouldn't drop it. There I was, lying naked in bed, humiliated, unable to, well, perform. I fessed up and told her what I'd overheard. Boy, that didn't go over well at all. At first, she tried saying I misunderstood what she said, but I repeated her exact words back to her. When she couldn't deny it, she apologized and, to her credit, listened to how I felt, though I'm sure it turned her off seeing me so torn up emotionally. She tried reassuring me, saying I was a better person, that I satisfied her, and she didn't want anyone else, but all I could hear was a fuzzy, meaningless noise, like the teacher from Charlie Brown. It's been nearly a month now, and I've got zero interest in being intimate with her, none at all. She's getting frustrated too, but no matter what I try, I can't get over it. She didn't say we were both good lovers or anything like that. She flat out said he was way better, and I figure blessed down there means he was a lot bigger than me. I know I can use my hands, my tongue, and other tricks, but I can't change my size, plain and simple. She refuses to talk about that part with me, saying anything she says will just make things worse because I won't believe her even if it's positive. She's probably right about that. Here's some background: he dumped her, not the other way around. It wasn't a mutual split. He broke her heart and left her high and dry. I know this because early in our relationship, she told me she wasn't ready to get serious with anyone since her ex had crushed her emotionally. So, this isn't me thinking, well, she's with me because she wants to be. If he hadn't dumped her, she'd still be with him. I don't know if, years later, she'd leave me for him if he came back, but I don't think she would. I'm just lost on what to do here. I can feel myself pulling away from the relationship. I know it sounds petty, but hearing the woman I love tell someone else she'd rather be with another guy in bed hit me like a ton of bricks. Her listing all my other good qualities only made it worse because she's saying things I think might matter to her or other women, but being told I'm a good provider and would make a great husband makes me worry. What if I lose my steady job or, worse, get hurt and can't earn more than welfare. Would she stick by me then? Right now, I feel like I'm just a solid friend she lets sleep with her. I know in my head that's not true, but in my heart, that's how it feels. I'm sorry this is so long, and I'm not even sure what I'm asking for here. I'm totally at a loss, and if this keeps up, I think I'm going to call off our engagement. By the way, to sum it up, I overheard my fiancée tell her friend her old boyfriend was way better in bed, and since then, our relationship's gone to pieces. I need some advice. Holy cow, I posted this last night, answered a couple questions, then hit the hay. I woke up, went Christmas shopping today hoping to distract myself from my troubles, and didn't log back in until just now. I haven't even started reading the 7,700 comments on this post. I don't know what anyone said yet, but thanks to everyone who's chimed in anyway. I'm about to dive into reading all those comments. Also, thanks for the gold and silver awards, you kind internet folks. Wow, I read down to the bottom of the page, thinking I'd made it through most of the comments, but then I saw it said, load the 5.5 thousand more posts. I'm stopping for tonight. I wanted to reply to folks one by one, but there's no way I can do that. I haven't even looked at the direct messages or opened any of the 20 chat screens yet. There are a few things I want to clear up because some comments got it wrong. She wasn't using sweet drunk talk, as someone put it, meaning she and her friend weren't drunk while talking. Neither of us drinks, we don't even keep alcohol in the house, and I'm upset she shared that with her friend. Honestly, before I posted this, I wasn't that bothered about her telling her friend. I was, and still am, way more upset about how she feels. But reading a lot of these comments, I'm getting pretty annoyed she told her friend at all. I'd never say anything about her to anyone that would make her look bad. Some folks are calling me an insecure manchild who should just toughen up and improve, but I know the first part's true. I am insecure, but the last part's out of my hands. No matter what I do, I'll only ever be 7 inches long. We talked about this, by the way, when she was trying to cheer me up. She said I'm great at everything except that one thing I can't control. I'm not going to do anything hasty, it's already been a month, so it's not like this just happened yesterday, but I've got to figure out what I'm doing here soon. It's not fair to either of us if I'm just drifting through this without being fully committed. She's sorry I heard it, sorry she said it, but deep down, she wouldn't be sorry if I hadn't caught her saying it. That's just how it is, but I think she regrets it because she's been a wreck since I told her. Her being upset that I don't want to be with her anymore is really getting to her, she says. I'm not sure how much of that I believe, but I can't see why she'd lie about it right now. It's totally ruined our Christmas spirit this year, I know that much. For those wondering, I'm an engineer by trade, and she works as a legal assistant. A few people asked about her relationship with her ex and how I know she was heartbroken. We met about 9 months after they broke up. I know he wanted to be with someone else. She says he never cheated, he just ended things to be with another woman. She approached me at a local workshop, and we started dating. On our 4th date, when things started heating up physically, she broke down crying about her ex. It was strange holding her while she sobbed over someone else, but I did it. We dated off and on for a couple more months, and I never pushed things physically because it was clear she wasn't over him yet, so I kept telling myself we were just friends. I didn't want to get too attached either. After nearly 2 months, she pulled me from my car into her apartment and told me how much she appreciated my patience and felt dumb for stringing me along so long. That night was our first time together. Within 3 months of that, she told me she loved me, so yeah, she was still hung up on her ex when we got together. I'd hoped she was over him before this mess happened. Things came to a head last night. She flat out asked me if I didn't love her anymore, and all I could say was that a big part of me still does, but what she said made another part of me stop loving her. That kicked off a long talk I won't drag you through, but it boiled down to me saying I could have handled hearing he was better at something specific, like being more attentive or having a skill I could work on. I'd have listened to anything she wanted and worked on any technique she suggested, but knowing I'd never measure up just because of something physical I can't change felt like something I couldn't get past anytime soon, or maybe ever. I was honest and said if it was just some random guy with a huge, package, I might have moved on, but knowing it was a guy she was head over heels for when I met her, and only got over him with time, was too much. She kept insisting I'm better at everything else and shouldn't throw away our future over one thing, but I told her that one thing hits me harder than anything else, Not everything's equal, and yeah, it's probably a mental block on my part, but I need to be the best for my partner, and she's made it clear I never will be. I tried to be gentle, tried to take all the blame, saying I know my attitude's probably unhealthy, but it's who I am. This wasn't a neat conversation, there was a lot of crying. It's not a happy ending or even a sad but satisfying one. I'm totally messed up over this whole situation. Everyone's Christmas is ruined. We had big family gatherings planned together, and now we've got to figure out how to tell our families what happened. That's stressing me out big time because my folks adored her, and what am I supposed to say about why we're done? She didn't cheat, and if I say I felt like she's still hung up on her ex, she'd deny it and tell them the truth. No matter how this plays out, I feel like a total failure, like I failed as a man for not measuring up and failed because I couldn't just toughen up and move on. She begged me to try couples counseling, and I said no at first because, at the end of the day, what would change? We could talk it out, I could try seeing things differently, but the woman I wanted to marry told a friend I'll never be as good as her ex, no matter what. I can't imagine being okay with that 5 years from now, but since she's genuinely heartbroken, I agreed to go, though I'm not promising I'll keep going. Today, I moved a bunch of my stuff out and I'm crashing with a coworker for a few days until I find my own place. She's been staying with her sister all day. I feel awful, but thanks to everyone who took the time to write a response. I've tried reading everything, even if I didn't reply much. The bottom line is I still love her, and a huge part of me wants to call her, beg her to come back. I posted this, then stepped away for a bit. I went with a buddy to see Mortal Engines, grabbed dinner, and we talked for hours, so I started reading comments a while ago. It'll take forever to get through them all, and I doubt I'll reply to each one because there are so many posts and private messages, but thanks to everyone for reading and responding. I shared one thing with her during our long talk. I gave her a scenario to compare. I know her well enough to know comparing physical traits or bedroom skills doesn't hit her the same way it does me, so I asked, what if you walked in and heard me talking to my friend Tim, saying, Jill's great, but she'll never understand me or comfort me like Tiffany did. It's not Jill's fault, Tiffany's just the smartest, most caring person I've ever met, and Jill just isn't as smart. Then, if she confronted me, I'd say, I love you for all your other qualities, nobody makes a sandwich like you do, and I think long-term you'd marry me for my money. At first, she said it was a totally different issue, but after talking more, she admitted it would hurt her feelings bad, though she wouldn't break up with me over it. I pointed out that, in my made-up scenario, which I'd never say out loud about anyone I loved, she could work on being smarter or more compassionate. Some folks are calling me whiny because I can't get over someone else having a bigger, well, you know, than me. I won't lie, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm not naive enough to think I've got some giant tool or anything. I grew up thinking women don't care about size, but I know now that's not true. Some don't, but some do, and my fiancé's one who does. Even so, I might have gotten past it if she just mentioned it casually, but hearing I'd never be as good, no matter what I do, how much I love her, or anything else, has eaten at me ever since. Yeah, size is a big deal here, but if I hadn't heard I'd never be the lover she wants, I think I could have handled it, maybe not great, but not enough to kill the relationship. I know I overvalue sex, I get that, and it's really important to me. I want to be wanted as much as I want to want someone, if that makes sense. I know whoever I date next probably had someone bigger, better, or whatever, but I'd hope they wouldn't still be hung up on it years later. It's over now. I wasn't going to post again, but I'm still getting daily direct messages asking how things are going. I appreciate the kind words and concern, but for anyone who cares, it's done. We went to counseling 3 times, and I tried keeping an open mind, but the hurdle was just too big to clear. I even gave her a chance to take back or tweak what she said, but instead, she doubled down. I think she was frustrated by then too. Neither of us are happy about this. It's been a nightmare trying to avoid telling family why we split. I tried saying, it's none of your business, to some, but that blew up in my face, and since I wouldn't explain, they decided she cheated and started spreading that rumor. I've had to do a lot of damage control. I'm sticking with therapy on my own because this has really messed with my head, and I've got no self-esteem left. I've only seen her once since we split, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. She's in the angry phase now, justifiably so, and she's furious with me, calling me every name in the book and making up a few of her own. To sum it up, it's over. I tried counseling, but things only got worse.